Hi, and welcome to another exciting pirate news. Tonight I have a fancy new microphone, so pardon me if I have to get a few glitches out with it. With me, right above me, is your fabulous captain of the Massachusetts chapter, and to my left, that would be Steve, and in the upper left-hand corner, that is the one and only Malt, coming to you live from someplace unknown.
The bowels of the earth, he said.
Otherwise known as Maine.
Yeah, he kind of sounds like the old '80s Lava to me. I don't know why. Whenever he talks, it's pretty retro. It's awesome. And this week, we actually have quite a bit on the plate, so hopefully we can get to it all. We're starting right off with Trumpty Dumpty, and all the wonderful things of a human being he may be, just going on, and it's a crazy thing where he has COVID and it doesn't seem like he cares whatsoever about the people around him. It's kind of hard to watch. Guys, what do you think of it? Keep this more open for everybody.
I mean, if he doesn't care about the people around him, how could he possibly care about anyone else?
I'm confused about the... he was cleared to return to work by the White House medical staff, but that doesn't make sense because isn't he infectious for like 2 weeks? So
they didn't say he was. They didn't say his tests were negative.
He had the best steroids. They're absolutely the biggest, the best steroids. There's never been steroids like this.
I'm pretty sure the people that are going into the Oval Office are doing so in like full-on hazmat suit with gloves and everything.
I would hope so. I would truly hope so. Because they don't need to be taking that home to the families and stuff like that. I mean, it's kind of like over across the pond what happened with the Queen. She was demanding that all of her staff were to just give up their families, and she nearly had a revolt on her hands. So hopefully, it's not like that at all.
I don't know. There's somehow or other I got myself on some sort of email list for a group that purports to be part of the Trump campaign. And I say purports because the messages they get are so over the top. I mean, granted, Trump is pretty over the top himself, but these are just even further. And I want to just like read a little bit of the one I got this afternoon. So at the top, you got a picture like the Trump and Pence Make America Great Again 2020 logo. Then it goes on, friend, I have an exciting announcement. After saving college football, which I know many Americans are very happy about, I wanted to do something special for one of my top supporters. Which point I have to wonder, then why are you sending this to me? So I've signed a Trump-Pence football, and I want to give it to you. No, you don't want to give this to me. That's Jesus right. Christ. This is the first ever Trump-Pence football, and I'm reserving it for one lucky patriot that has gone above and beyond for our movement. Enjoy. This offer is not intended to be shared. You have 1 hour to enter. Please contribute $45 in the next hour and win the Trump-Pence football that I signed for you. Right? So I started after I had a hysterical laughing fit for about 5 minutes. I thought, okay, so where do the links in this email go? And they go to a site called buildingourmovement.com. So I checked out buildingourmovement.com, was browsing around the site and stuff, and there's a lot of pictures of Trump and Pence and, people standing close together without masks and shit, typical stuff, right? But normally when you have a campaign-related website or a PAC-related website, someplace on there's going to be language that identifies the group, identifies the campaign or the campaign committee, gives a mailing address and says who pays for it. So I see none of this stuff on there. So part of me is wondering, is this an actual campaign mailing, or is this some very clever person trying to part people with their money $45 at a time? So, but anyway, I'm browsing around the site and I see this little link that says report abuse. Click the link, right? And it takes me to a WordPress.com abuse report page. It It's like, holy shit. So yeah, I reported that ass.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been getting lots of email from Trump or seemingly Trump-related campaigns, and they all just amazingly go to spam. So
I get the
It's big
Trump
tech,
and
the liberal big tech, and their lies and their fake news.
I also get the Joe Biden ones too. Joe Biden ones are pretty great. Like, we need to raise. You've helped us out so much, and we know you're so important. It's like, no.
yeah, I've been getting Democrat ones that are like, why did you sign me up for this list? I didn't sign up for this list, and I just go and click the unsubscribe and walk away. I got a text message recently from someone about that. So, I don't know. I got in some mailing list somewhere.
I don't know. It could be, having worked in the music biz where people tend to be really hard ass about money. I could just imagine campaign literature in that vein. You want me to be president, right? So fuck you now, pay me.
Well, that was the thing that came out, right? That there's like something like the Trump organization has gotten over $12 million from people who, rented space from his hotels or went on golfing things just as a way of making sure the legislation they wanted got passed.
It came from it was waste removal fees, man. Waste removal fees.
It's going to be some big fees when he's gone.
He's calling draining the swamp now?
Oh, he is the swamp.
Ugh.
Speaking of messed up things that is important to us and we haven't talked about in a while, we do have surveillance and we've done some action on the surveillance, but it's just getting out of hand. Like, they can just invade your privacy whenever they want. And so some of the things... Oh, it appears my microphone is being a little too noisy. Sorry for the technical glitches and difficulties, but...
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that came out a few days ago, actually yesterday, I guess, was keyword warrants.
Oh my God.
Right, they can just go to a search engine and say, anyone who looked up this term, tell us who they are.
Yeah,
that's a general warrant. We ostensibly fought a revolutionary war to stop that.
Well, no, I mean, what that actually reminds me of is during the Occupy movement. During the Occupy movement, when the Boston Police Department was subpoenaing hashtags,
yeah,
they were all very, very bad hashtags, like the worst hashtags you could ever imagine.
Hashtags.
Occupy Boston.
They were also geofencing everyone's phones in the protests themselves as well, right?
I mean, when there's a murder, they'll geofence it as well. I mean, that's happened. I mean, not. I don't think it's uniform, but they think they can do it.
Just for those laymen out there, geofencing means...
Geofencing means, just like with the search terms, you can say within a mile radius of such an event between the hours of 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, tell us all of the phones that pinged that area.
Yeah, so the way your cell phone works is periodically, like once a minute, it sends out this little ping. It says, "Hi, I'm a cell phone," and a tower will answer, say, "Hi, I'm a tower," or "Hi, I'm a stingray." But this is basically how the mobile communication system keeps track of where your phone is, so that if somebody calls you, it knows how to route it and which tower to send the signal to, so you can get your phone call. But as a result of this, your phone is periodically talking to the cellular network, and I mean, that is information that because that's the way the network works. Phone companies have that information. They collect it, and one of the reasons for that is just telemetry and good monitoring quality of service. But hey, if it's there, law enforcement can ask for it.
Well, here's a fun fact for you, and this is a heyday from my telecom days. believe it or not, the reason why your cell phone dies when you lose service is because it's constantly searching for it. And so if you don't have signal, guess what? Prepare your phone to die real quick. That's why if you're in a low service area, you might as well just slap it onto airplane mode so it stops searching and you don't have a dead phone on your hands.
Right.
Cell phone has
If-
anxiety
You can
attack.
use.
There's a plugin for internet browsers. If you're looking to avoid these keyword searches, check out Track Me Not. It takes just junk terms and constantly runs searches in the background while you're browsing.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah, like it'll basically just junk up the signal to noise ratio super effectively.
Or another thing that was kind of fun to do back in the day was when we found that DHS had the Department of Homeland Security had a keyword monitoring program for social media and websites and that sort of thing. One of the things that came out was the actual word list. So you start having creative writing contests to who can write the best short essay that uses as many of those words as possible.
Oh, we should definitely do that at the Pirate Conference. Just see how many times we can get people to post that to their Twitter account.
So on the 17th, down in Worcester, we will be mapping all of these surveillance cameras we've got around the Commons and the downtown area.
Yeah, that's coming up real soon. What time was that at?
11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
All right.
So basically, we'll meet right by City Hall in the park nearby. Show up preferably between 11 and noon. We'll show people what to do, and then we'll just go. We'll each have a map, and we'll go to a different part of that area, map the cameras, and then come back. You don't have to be there the whole time, but if you can sign up, so we have your phone number, and we can keep in touch if you're going to show up late or something like that. And then, if you can only do an hour, that's fine. If you can do 4 hours, even better. But just come to it. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, they're fun.
Good. And then there was one major topic that we had to go over tonight, which was housing.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so that's another thing that's kind of fallen to the wayside, and we're about to have a lot of Americans have issue.
Well, in Massachusetts, Governor Baker's moratorium on evictions and foreclosures ends on October 17th, a mere 6 days away. And there's the Housing Stability Act, S 2831 and H 4878, which I believe have been turned into other bills since then. So if you look to those, you can find where they've moved to. But that's a bill to at least make it, if you're a renter and you cannot pay your rent because you've lost your job or something like that, not because you don't feel like paying, then that prevents you from getting evicted. And there's also money to go into reimbursing landlords in order to deal with the fact that they're not getting the rent they were previously thought they would get before we got a depression. So, do you know more, Malt? I know you had some more on this.
On the specifics, I don't. I do know that the eviction, there's going to be a wave, and it's not necessarily always going to go through the courts or the legal systems. There's apps now for landlords to basically hire a brute squad to knock people out of their homes. there's like the number of process servers that do what's called sewer service, where they don't deliver the legal services, legal papers to people, so they don't know they're getting evicted, so they can't fight it, has skyrocketed. It's scum. There's a lot of scummy shit going on in the industry, driven by greedy motherfuckers. And until we secure housing for everybody, it's just going to get worse. Philadelphia recently set the nationwide standard where I think it was 30 vacant homes were seized and populated with families by activists. So there are a number of radical groups in Boston and in Worcester that folks need to hook up with, because this is going to be like a nightmare going into winter, going into the second COVID spike. It's going to be atrocious.
Yeah, I know with COVID, so one moment, Steve, but I know with COVID, Lowell is back up into being in the red zone again. So, I mean, it's crazy. They're about to shut down the schools, the whole nine. And it's a little crazy, and with them kicking, with the resurgence and them dropping this, it's crazy. Sorry for interrupting, Steve.
Oh, no worries. I was going to say Philadelphia has had a long history of activism for housing, especially along the lines of what Malt was saying. A few years ago, the vice presidential candidate for the Green Party was a woman named Sherry Honkala. She is a homeless. She's an activist for homeless individuals in Philadelphia, and basically her mindset is, these people have no place to sleep. That's an abandoned building. Problem solved. Bust down the effing door. And, she's an incredible person to meet. I just got to say that.
I mean, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Go, Jeff.
I was just going to say, desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I don't get is if you go and evict, let's say, 10% of all the people who are in rental property, and they literally can't pay. They lose, they lose their deposit. Potentially the last month. Well, I guess that's maybe lost, but they certainly lose their deposit, and now they're going to have to go double up with friends, with family, be homeless. And that's not what we need in the middle of a pandemic. They get sick, then that means they're more likely to get everyone else sick. It's better to just have them in their home and have some way of, not evicting people, not foreclosing on people. I mean, Malt brings up the point of people not getting served and not knowing they're going to be evicted. We saw this during the financial crisis and the foreclosure crisis starting in 2008 and still going on, where they pay someone pennies to go and serve people papers, and they'll just drop it off at random locations, or who cares, make sure that, there's no incentive of the person delivering it to do it accurately, so people don't know if they're being foreclosed on. And where are people going to go? We'll have, millions of properties where no one is living. And then what? People come in and they tear out the electrical work, and they tear out the piping, and they sell that for pennies? Geez, that doesn't make any sense. Better to have someone living there.
Well, I mean, one of the things, the one part of this calculus that I do not understand at all from the landlord's perspective is, right now in big metropolitan areas like New York and Boston, rental markets are collapsing. And, it's either because of, people who've decided that I've had enough, I want to, they got shaken up by this COVID thing and decided to move further out. And then, hey, we discovered that the virus gets people in, less populated areas too. Or, in the case of Boston, Boston has a really big student population, which are not here right now. And that's also put a hurting on the rental market. So, I mean, if you evict tenants that you have, like, who are they expecting to come in? That I just do not understand. That's it's strictly, the attitude almost seems to be, if I can't get paid, I'm not going to rent to anyone at all, and that's just really it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's bullshit and it's punitive.
I
Sorry,
really
Malt.
encourage everyone to check out the landlord discussion forums. Like, there's a lot of them. It's all about just like leveraging yourself out your ass and buying as much property as you can and keeping them as stuffed full as you can. Like, the people who get into this to make money are they feel perpetually entitled to a return on their investment, which is not seen anywhere else in finance for damn good reason.
Well, no, hedge funds have
Or
that
in business,
thing. So
Okay.
or in business in general.
Tech
You always,
man.
there's always a risk.
You really can't underestimate the greed that motivates a lot of middle-sized landlords.
I don't know. There's just I think this also needs. Well, okay. So I'm going to give my perspective as a landlord, because I am a landlord. But as soon as the COVID thing hit, one of my tenants, it's a young couple. One works in retail, the other's a cook, and it's like, are you guys working? No, and so, okay, no rent this month. The next month rolls around. Are you guys working? No, we're not working yet. Well, it's the middle of the pandemic. Things are still shut down. Okay, no rent this month. And we've been kind of working on a thing where they'll pay what they can when they're able to do it. But I have to be honest. I feel a lot better that they have a roof over their head, that they have some security, and they're trying. They are really trying. And to me, that's worth more than the couple of $100 I'd be getting otherwise.
Well, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today. I want to leave you with one final thought. I don't know if this will focus, but no, I unfortunately won't focus. But
It looks like Oompa Loompa hair, man.
it is Oompa Loompa hair. It can't quite see it. I'll definitely send a link to you guys so that we can post it. But it says Oompa Loompa doopity doo. I'm going to give COVID to you, and it is the one, our president. Let's see if I can get just
Oh,
oh.
Oompa Loompa doopity doo. You got COVID, so hey, fuck you.
Guys, thank you so much for always making it real and making this truly an opening experience. I appreciate you all. So, thank you and have a great night.